Hello, a warm welcome to all of you. Today we are in the last leg of our poem section, and I hope this journey which you have had with us was really enjoyable. Today we are moving to poem 2.8 Small Towns and River, written by Mamang Dai. This is an FF Creation presentation. I hope you have liked all our earlier videos and you will support us in our future endeavors too. So, shall we begin with today's poem? Poem 2.8 Small Town and Rivers by Mamang Dai. So, before we step into the explanation, let us see the background of the poet. Mamang Dai, born 1957, is a poet, novelist, journalist, and a former civil servant from Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh, who writes in English as well as Adi language. She is also an active radio and TV journalist, covering news programs and interviews for All India Radio and Doordarshan, Itanagar. She was a program officer with Worldwide Fund for Nature and worked with Biodiversity Hotspot Conservation Program. She has received Padma Shri Award in 2011 and Sahitya Academy Award in 2017. Mamang Dai is a strong voice from the Northeast and a writer and a poetess par excellence whose work has the fragrance of a land and her people. So this was a short background of Mamang Dai. Now, this poem basically is taken from her collection of river poem where she has depicted her hometown Phassighat. You can see the bridge. This is a scenery of Phassighat. So before we actually read and go into the poem, let us see about the poem. This poem is taken from the collection of poems, The River Poems, published in 2004. The poem beautifully describes the landscape and nature where river is a dominant phenomenon. The river is given life, and through this poem, the poet has brought about the liveliness in her work and also brought about a picturesque description about a hometown, Phassighat. As I told you, the bridge which you can see, it's absolutely from Phassighat, this image. And Northeast, as all of you know, is known for its beautiful landscape. This poem is based on the belief of the tribal people of the Northeast that even life and death last for short time, as the soul of the loved ones always continues to live in the natural element around. Hence, the poet remembers death when she sees the town. This is a typical belief of the tribal people. They believe that the soul remains in the nature, in existence with nature, even after the person dies. The town, she implies, has prospered when nature has been destroyed. The poet has expressed uneasiness at the development in the small towns. So now, let us see. This is a picture of a small village, basically in Arunachal Pradesh. So let us now read the poem. Small Town and the River. Small town always remind me of my death. My hometown lies calmly amidst the trees. It is always the same in summer or winter, with dust flying or the wind howling down the gorge. Just the other day, someone died. In the dreadful silence, we wept. looking at the sad wreath of tuberoses. Life and death, life and death. Only the rituals are permanent. The river has a soul. In the summer, it cuts through the land like a torrent of grief. Sometimes I think it holds its breath, seeking a land of fish and stars. The river has a soul, it knows, stretching past the town, from the first drop of rain to dry earth and mist on the mountain tops. The river knows the immortality of water. The shrine of happy pictures marks the days of childhood. Small towns grow with anxiety for the future. The dead are placed pointing west. When the soul rises, it walks into the golden east, into the house of the sun. In the cool bamboo, restored in sunlight, life matters like this. In small towns by the river, we all want to walk with gods. Have you understood anything? I know it's a bit difficult and a philosophical poem. But now let us see the summary of the poem. I think this will give you a deep insight into the poem. This is a picturesque location of the northeast state. Absolutely beautiful mountains covered with lush green vegetation with beautiful rivers flowing across. It's really a scenic beauty to the tired eyes. We long to see the beauty, and Northeast is absolutely a marvelous place with its picturesque locations. So now let us see what the poet is trying to convey through the first stanza. In the first stanza, the poet says that small towns and rivers remind her of death. Death has a symbolic meaning in Dai's poem. Life and death are part of nature that no one can escape. We all know that this is a cycle which we all have to undergo. This feeling is echoed ironically in the first line, where she says, "Small towns always remind me of death." In the coming lines, the poet has painted an utopian landscape of a town, absolutely imaginary landscape of a town which is calm and surrounded with trees. This landscape remains the same in summer or winter, with dust flying, the wind howling down the gods. Such beautiful scenery, don't you think? In the second stanza, she goes ahead and speaks about death and the sorrow one undergoes with death of near and dear ones. The lines which say, the beginning of the second stanza, "Just the other day someone died. In the dreadful silence we wept." The cycle of life and death are common to all, and the rituals that follow with death remain permanent. Every specific community has their own ritual, and their ritual are really a part of their traditions, I can say. The rituals may vary from regions to region, but the sole purpose of life and death remains the same for all. Now let's see what Dai wants to say in the third stanza. In the third stanza, she portrays the love for nature. Nature has always been a source of generating a sense of identity among the people of Northeast, because absolutely beautiful nature landscape. It has got a beautiful landscape. All the northeastern states, are known for its scenic beauty. The poet immortalizes nature in the line. Okay, the third stanza, the poet immortalizes nature. She talks about the river, saying that the river has a soul. The river has a soul. The river cuts through the land like an outpouring of sorrow or grief. She has further added that it wants to move towards a place of abundance. You have seen when a river flows, it cuts through all obstacles of life. It keeps on moving without stopping. So similarly, our lives too should keep on going ahead, irrespective of the difficulties that we come across. Now let us see what the poet is trying to convey through the fourth stanza. The fourth stanza again speaks of the river, which knows its limit and accordingly moves ahead during the rainy or the summer season. The beauty of the landscape is further enhanced through the misty mountains, absolutely beautiful mountains. The river very well understands the immortality of water. In fact, northeastern states, it's also known as, the seven sisters. The seven states are absolutely beautiful and known for its beautiful landscape and the river that flows through. Whenever you go to this particular place, you feel absolutely calm and peaceful, and you feel one with nature. Nature is at its abundance in this place. The poet is trying to tell us that water is an important source of life, and the river understands this very well. All of us know that water is a very important part of our life. Now let us see what Dai is conveying through the fifth stanza. Can you see the images? What do you see? What is the peculiarity of the images shown over here? Yes, they all seem to be happy, enjoying. They are enjoying the tradition, they are enjoying the culture. Everybody united together are seeming to enjoy their tradition, their culture with various folk dances and folklore. So let us see what the fifth stanza emphasizes. In the fifth stanza, the poet is longing for the past and she becomes nostalgic about old days. She expresses a deep longing to the past days, especially happiness. Yes, who doesn't like the past? Everyone likes the past. Even we, sometimes get back to our past and think about those happy days which we have spent. It becomes a nostalgic part of our life. The desire for escape to the countryside. Yes, everybody wants to go to the countryside, enjoy the nature, enjoy the peace, enjoy the serenity. And yearning for the happy childhood days are almost understandable. Everybody would like to be a child. In fact, I too would be happy to be a child and be a free bird without bothering anything, without any responsibilities. Wow, what a wonderful life were those days. The wonderful life was those childhood days. She further brings about the myth of the tribal community when dealing with death. The soul after death mingles with nature. As I told you in the beginning, this poem deals with the tradition of the tribal community, and they believe that the soul mixes up in nature, and that is why they bury their dead facing the west. The beauty of nature in simple aspect is expressed in the fifth stanza. Nature is home for everyone, from the giant galaxy, universe to tiny microorganism, including the non-living rivers and mountains. Absolutely beautiful. Now can you see these wonderful images? They depict the tradition, the culture of the northeastern state. They always celebrate with fun, with gaiety, and they always follow their tradition. They value their tradition and culture to a great extent. To sum up, one can say that nature is also constructed of unseen dreams, memories, imaginations, culture, tradition, folklore. The folklore of Northeast is absolutely famous. And the cycle of life, that is life and death. One cannot forget that, because that's a part and parcel of our life. All the things that has come into existence has surely to perish someday or the other. The poet was deeply in the mysterious presence of this gigantic natural object. which was undoubtedly dead, but which seemed some ways alive and open to question. See, many of us try to question our rituals, our rites, but there are certain things which need to go beyond. Some things has to be accepted because it has come as a form of a tradition. Something can be questioned and need to be questioned, but that varies from tradition to tradition. That's different. Certain things can be accepted and certain things can be given away, but we should respect our culture and tradition. Now we move on to the figurative use of language or the poetic devices. There are some figures of speech, and this we have been studying since 11th standard. So students, I would like you to identify the figures of speech and explain them. Name and explain the figure of speech in the given lines. Is the reed sad? The river has a soul. Life and death, life and death. The wind howling down the gorge. The poem does not have a rhyme scheme, hence it is. What type of poem it is? A poem without a rhyme scheme is called. All this has been dealt in 11th standard. So I think you would be able to answer this very well. Now, let us move to a compulsory question which you will be attempting in your exam, and that's the poetic creativity. So we have listed few poetic creativity for you. Can compose a 4-line verse on season. There's no hard fast rule. You can use a rhyme or you can make it as a free verse. It's up to you. Second, compose a 4-line poem on river with rhyme. Yes, here we have given you a particular way of expressing your words, that is through rhyme. Either you can have an AABB rhyme or you can have an ABAB rhyme scheme in your poem, and this will really test your creativity, how well you are in making rhyming words. Compose a 4-line poem depicting life in small town. This is again an open-ended question. You can write a small poem on small town, and the choice is up to you whether you want to give rhyme or no. Thank you. But before I say goodbye to you, a gentle reminder to you once again. If you haven't subscribed our channel, kindly subscribe our FF Creation. But don't forget to press the bell icon. We have many more surprises awaiting for you. I hope you will cooperate and help us to fulfill our task of giving knowledge to the students of SYJC and helping them to cope up with their syllabus. Thank you.